Ever wondered why a choir sounds like a heavenly orchestra, even though no one's playing an instrument? Well, it's all about the voice parts. Imagine, if you will, a magnificent symphony of voices. It's like a well-tuned engine with different parts, each humming in its own unique way, yet all working together to create a harmonious melody that can stir emotions and touch souls. This engine, my dear friends, is a choir, and the humming parts are the voices. There's a beautiful diversity in these voices, each with its own distinct character and role. They are the soprano, alto, tenor, and bass. Now don't get overwhelmed just yet. These are not cryptic terms from a secret choir codebook. They're simply names for the different voice types, each with its own unique range and timbre. First off, we have the sopranos, the high flyers of the choir. These are the voices that hit those high notes that make you feel like you're floating on a cloud. They're the icing on the cake, the sparkle on a diamond, Okay, you get the point, they're pretty important. Then we have the altos, the unsung heroes, if you will. They usually sing the harmony, adding depth and richness to the music. You know, the kind of depth that makes you want to close your eyes and just feel. Next up, we have the tenors. These are the high voices among men. They provide the bridge between the high voices of women and the low voices of men. They're like the middle child in a family, always striving to keep the balance. And finally, let's not forget the basses. These are the deep, resonant voices that provide the solid foundation upon which the choir builds its music. They're like the roots of a tree, unseen, yet holding everything together. So buckle up, because we're about to take a roller coaster ride through the thrilling world of choir singing. First stop, the cloud kissers, the sky touchers, the high note magicians, the sopranos. The sopranos are like the cherries on top of a sundae, the crowning glory of a choir. They're the ones who can hit those high notes that make your spine tingle and your heart soar. In the choir, sopranos are the ones who often carry the melody. Their voices dance on the top of the harmonic structure like feathers on the breeze. They're the ones you often hear floating above the rest, adding a touch of ethereal beauty to the rich tapestry of voices. Now, when we talk about sopranos, we're talking about a vocal range that sits between middle C and high A. That's a lot of notes to play with, folks. And let's not forget about the coloratura sopranos, those vocal acrobats who can trill and run with the best of them. If you've ever heard a singer who can make their voice flutter like a butterfly, chances are you're listening to a coloratura soprano. Of course, we can't talk about sopranos without mentioning some of the greats. Take Maria Callas, for example. She was a soprano who could make you feel every emotion under the sun just with the power of her voice. And let's not forget about sopranos like Renee Fleming, whose voice is as smooth as silk and as sweet as honey. These are the women who set the bar for sopranos everywhere. But here's the thing about being a soprano. It's not just about hitting those high notes, it's about how you use your voice to connect with the music and with your audience. It's about finding your unique sound and sharing that with the world. So don't be discouraged if you can't hit that high C just yet. Keep practicing, keep exploring your voice, and remember, you're not just a soprano, you're a musical artist, painting with the colors of your voice. So here's to you, sopranos. Keep reaching for those high notes, keep pushing the boundaries of what your voice can do. Because remember, you're not just hitting those high notes, you're aiming for the stars. Next up, the altos. The unsung heroes, the harmony weavers, the we've got your back singers. So who are these altos we're talking about? In the choir ecosystem, altos are the mighty redwoods, standing firm and tall, providing the rich, warm undertones that add depth and complexity to the choir's overall sound. While the sopranos may often get the melody and the glory, it's the altos that provide the harmony. And let's face it, without harmony, we just have a bunch of soloists trying to outsing each other. Now, when we talk about vocal range, altos typically handle the lower female range, from about F3 to F5. They are the chameleons of the choir, able to blend seamlessly into the background when needed, but also capable of stepping into the spotlight when the situation calls for it. And speaking of stepping into the spotlight, let's talk about some famous altos, like the legendary Marian Anderson. A trailblazer in her time, Anderson was one of the first African-American singers to perform at the Metropolitan Opera. Her rich, resonant alto voice captivated audiences around the world, and she used her platform to break down barriers and foster understanding through music. Now, if you're an alto, you might feel like you're always playing second fiddle to the sopranos. But remember, without you, the choir would be like a PB&J sandwich without the jelly. Sure, you'd still have the bread and peanut butter, but without that sweet, sticky filling to hold it all together, you just have a dry, crumbly mess. And nobody wants that. So keep on singing, altos. Keep weaving those harmonies and adding that depth and richness to the choir's sound. You're like the glue that holds the choir together, the secret ingredient that makes the whole dish sing. It's no wonder altos are often the most reliable and committed members of the choir. So here's to the altos, the reliable backbone of any choir. Moving on to the heartthrobs of the choir, the swoon inducers, the voice charmers, the tenors. Right, let's dive into the realm of tenors, those who are often the crowd pleasers in a choir. Tenors have a vocal range that sits just below the countertenor. Typically, a tenor can sing from the C1 octave below middle C to the C1 octave above middle C. Now that's a wide range, isn't it? It's like being able to reach both the top shelf and the bottom drawer without breaking a sweat. In a choir, tenors usually provide the harmony to the melody. They are like the steady hand, holding the reins of a galloping melody, ensuring it doesn't go off the track. Their voices often carry a sense of warmth and richness that can melt hearts and stir emotions. Now let's talk about some famous tenors. And who else comes to mind but the legendary Luciano Pavarotti? With his powerful and emotive voice, Pavarotti has become synonymous with the tenor voice part. He's like the Michael Jordan of the tenor world, if you will. But of course, not all tenors need to belt out operatic arias. Tenors are also prevalent in pop music, with artists like Bruno Mars and Freddie Mercury showcasing the versatility of the tenor voice. They are proof that tenors can rock the stage just as well as they can serenade an opera house. And here's a fun fact. Did you know that most lead roles in musical theater are written for tenors? That's right. Tenors are often the leading men, the heroes of the story. It's a tough job, but someone's got to do it, right? So to all the tenors out there, remember, you are the spice that gives the choir its flavor. You are the dash of paprika, the sprinkle of cinnamon, the pinch of saffron that makes the musical dish come alive. The choir wouldn't be the same without you. So tenors, keep on serenading and winning hearts. Last but not least, the basses, the ground shakers, the deep sound makers, we've got the depth singers. Now let's talk about the basses. They are the unsung heroes of the choir. While the sopranos may get all the high-flying solos and the altos harmonize beautifully, the basses are the foundation. They provide the rich, deep tones that give the choir its fullness and depth. And let's not forget, they're the ones who make the floor vibrate during those really low notes. Basses typically have a vocal range that extends from around the second E below middle C to the E above middle C. This means they can hit those low notes that make us all feel like we're in the presence of a growling bear, in the best possible way, of course. And let's face it, there's nothing quite like a well-executed bass line to really make a piece of music resonate. Now let's talk about some famous basses. There's Ezio Pinza, for instance, an Italian opera singer who was known for his thunderous yet smooth bass voice. He could make the walls shake with his powerful low notes. And let's not forget about Paul Robeson, known for his deep, rich voice that was as captivating as it was powerful. Basses, you're like the roots of a tree. You may not always be seen or heard over the rustling leaves of the sopranos or the swaying branches of the altos and tenors, but without you, the tree wouldn't stand. And let's be honest, who else is going to hit those low notes that make the audience's hearts vibrate? The sopranos? I don't think so. So basses, keep those low notes coming and keep the choir grounded. Be proud of your role in the choir, and remember, while the other sections may get more of the spotlight, you provide the depth and richness that truly completes the choir's sound. So basses, keep those low notes coming and keep the choir grounded. Now that we've met all the players, let's talk about the magic that happens when they come together. Imagine a grand puzzle, sprawled out on a table. Each piece is unique. Different shapes, different colors, different images. Alone, they might not make much sense, but when they come together, they create a breathtaking picture. A choir is much like this puzzle. Each voice part, sopranos, altos, tenors, basses, is a unique piece of this grand jigsaw. The sopranos, with their high, clear notes, are like the sky in our puzzle, vast and expansive. They provide the soaring highs that take our breath away, like the sudden sight of an eagle in flight. Then come the altos, the rich, warm tones that anchor the choir. They are like the solid ground in our puzzle, dependable and steady. Without them, the sopranos would be like birds without a branch to rest on. Next, we have the tenors, the golden middle, balancing between the highs and lows. They are the sun in our puzzle, bridging the sky and the earth, bringing warmth and light. And finally, the basses, the deep, resonant voices that provide the foundation. They are like the roots of the trees in our puzzle, unseen but essential, giving the choir its depth and resonance. Just like in a puzzle, no piece is more important than the other. Each one is crucial for the picture to be complete. It's the combination of all these different voices working together that creates the harmonious sound we love. Just think about it. Without the basses, we'd be all treble. In a choir, diversity is not just accepted, it's celebrated. Every voice, no matter how high or low, loud or soft, is important. Each one adds its unique color to the grand picture, making it richer, more vibrant, and more beautiful. So next time you sing in a choir, remember, you're not just a voice. You're a vital piece of the puzzle, adding your unique touch to the grand picture. Remember, every voice is unique, every voice is important, and every voice adds to the beautiful symphony of a choir. Feeling overwhelmed? Don't. Singing in a choir isn't about hitting the perfect note, it's about making beautiful music together. Now let's be honest, the world of choir singing can seem daunting. But remember, every voice, from the highest soprano to the deepest bass, has a unique beauty and adds to the harmony of the choir. So embrace your unique voice no matter where it falls on the scale. It's your superpower, your calling card, your own personal brand of magic in the chorus of life. And don't be disheartened if you're struggling to hit those high notes like the sopranos or to reach the depth of the basses. Even the greatest singers had to start somewhere. You know, Luciano Pavarotti, the great tenor, once said, "Learning music by reading about it is like making love by mail. It takes time, practice, and most importantly, passion." Here's a little secret. A choir is not a competition. It's a celebration of diversity, of different voices coming together to create something beautiful. So don't compare your voice with others. Instead, focus on how you can contribute to the choir's overall sound. Now, the key to improvement is consistent practice. Singing is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. So sing in the shower, sing in your car, sing while you cook. And remember, practice doesn't mean singing the same song over and over again. Try different genres, explore different vocal ranges, and challenge yourself. And if you're feeling a bit stuck, don't hesitate to ask for help. Choir directors, voice coaches, even your fellow choir members, they're all there to support you. You know, it's kind of like a potluck. You bring what you can and you take what you need. And in the end, everyone gets a feast. So if you ever feel like you're not good enough, remember that even the most seasoned soprano or the most booming bass had their moments of doubts. Singing is not about perfection. It's about emotion. It's about connection. It's about sharing a piece of your soul with the world. All right, here's a little wisecrack for you. Why don't choirs ever go out for karaoke? Because they can't decide who gets to sing the melody. So keep your chin up, keep practicing, and remember, every voice is a vital thread in the tapestry of the choir. Each note you sing, each melody you bring, adds to the symphony of voices. I'll leave you with this thought. A choir is like a bird flock. Each bird sings its unique song, but together, they create a symphony that echoes across the sky. And that, my friends, is the beauty of choir singing. So keep singing, keep practicing, and remember, in the choir of life, every voice matters.